What's going on? And thanks for checking out To Be Continued With. I'm Mike, your host, and today we're breaking down episode 4 of WandaVision. It's entitled We Interrupt This Program, and Disney and Marvel really step it up this time. The show starts balls to the wall. Geraldine, who we all know is actually named Monica Rambeau, the little girl from Captain Marvel, is returning from the snap inside of a hospital. Now total chaos takes over, and Monica finds out that her mother Marie died 3 years ago of cancer while she was snapped away. Confusion and utter madness are taking over this hospital, and we fade right into our MCU intro banner. Now what this episode does for us is that it lets us know this is taking place 3 weeks after Endgame. With Monica getting situated back in reality, she ends up going back to work, which is an agency called SWORD. We meet director Tyler Haywood, and in case you're wondering what the hell is SWORD, they're basically the new SHIELD. They're interested in artificial intelligence, sentient weapons, blah blah, blah blah blah. Now since Monica's mom was a founder of SWORD, she left specific protocols in place for any agent that returned from the snap. Now since Monica was a pilot and also worked for this agency, she has been officially grounded. Director Haywood then assigns Monica to a missing persons case for the FBI, basically to be their babysitter. She ends up in New Jersey and meets up with Agent Wu, you know, the FBI guy from Ant-Man, and they're outside of Westview. Wu explains to Monica that he's working a missing persons case, but the interesting and odd thing about it is that no one actually remembers who this missing person is anymore. Then, they decide to check things out for themselves. They walk up to a local set of good old boys who say that the town of Westview doesn't even exist. Looking to do a little bit more investigating, Monica starts making her way closer towards town. Suddenly, she puts her hand on a field that's surrounding it and gets sucked in. At this moment, we end up meeting Darcy Lewis, you know, the cute assistant from the Thor movies. She's brought to a base along with other doctors and scientists, but have no idea what's going on. All she knows is that she needs a cup of coffee. While setting up shop, Darcy ends up discovering some CMBR, cosmic microwave background radiation. She also discovers a way to match some signals that are being detected and asks for an old school TV. While she sets up all this equipment, she ends up detecting and discovering WandaVision. That's right, folks. Darcy and everyone else right now are watching Wanda and Vision play out episode 1 from this series. Just like us, the viewers, saw it a while back. Darcy is actually our Dr. Claw from the end of episode 1. She's the one that was sitting in front of the monitors taking down notes. Now, I just want to say this. For all the critics that were bashing this series when it started, you are now obviously getting a Marvel movie in 30 minutes. Because honestly, between the writing, acting, the music, and even the modern camera use, it gives us that great MCU style. Darcy and Wu are great together on screen as the Scully and Mulder of this MCU series. Now, they're the ones behind the voices that are also reaching out to Wanda in episode 2. With Darcy watching this, she sees an edited version of what we saw. Because even though we hear the glass break in Dottie's hand, Darcy's seeing the clip jump and skip forward to where it seems normal. In an attempt to get through the force field that surrounds town, SWORD sends in an agent dressed in a hazmat suit to get into town through the sewers. As he breaks through the barrier, he magically changes into the beekeeper guy at the end of episode 2. Completely lost and cut off from reality, our reality, Director Haywood is now distracted at base by some noise. It's actually Darcy. She's now watching all the episodes of WandaVision as we've seen it. Like I mentioned before, everyone gathers around and they start talking about how 2 Avengers are living through a sitcom world. Mind you, 1 is dead. As everyone watches on, we cut back to last episode's ending. You know the part where Wanda's getting annoyed at Monica for bringing up her twin? Well, we get an extended version where Wanda uses her magic to pick up Geraldine, Monica, you know what I mean, through the walls, through the bricks, through town, and through the field, shooting her outside back to our reality. But outside, in the real world, Darcy, Wu, and the other agents of SWORD notice that the scene actually jumps as they're watching it into the credits. A little bit crazy, a little bit strange. Now remember that the last episode ended with Vision coming back into the house to see Wanda with the twins. Here it plays out again, but Vision seems to be a little bit off kilter. As Wanda answers him about where Geraldine went, she turns around and notices that he is missing his forehead. He's looking exactly as he did at the end of Infinity War. Quick little side note here, folks. There's an interview going around with actor Paul Bettany, the guy who plays Vision here, that he described was taken out of Avengers Endgame, where Wanda sees Vision's body and his remains in a facility for S.H.I.E.L.D. And that was the starting point for this particular series. Now back to our show. Wanda shakes the effects off from seeing a dead Vision. She looks up, everything's back to normal. She tells him in a really sly way that she's got everything under control. We open up, Monica's out in the field. Again, she's being surrounded by all the agents of S.W.O.R.D. now, and she says, it's Wanda. We cue up some Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child. We catch our main characters sitting on the couch as we get the full ending of episode 3. They're holding the twins, they click the remote, look forward, and we come to an end. That's the breakdown here at To Be Continued, and honestly, this is a must-watch series. I could definitely understand those that complained about the slow start, but this series is now heading into ludicrous speed. I really can't wait to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to hear more crazy talk from me and great tunes from, again, Bobcat the Legend. Here's his YouTube, here's his Spotify. Also, check out more from the channel family. Wall Ball Worldwide with my boy Jay, and Figure It Out with my boy Lord Sin. I'm Mike, this is To Be Continued, and I'll catch ya on the next show.